So I'm currently in Sabah. It's a place called Kundasang. It's a it's a dairy farm, affectionately known, I think, as the New Zealand of Malaysia, mainly because I think there are a lot of cows. As you can see from this picture, in this picture, and this is one of my personal favorites of the place. Before we start, I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone that has supported in this kind of discovery of who I am as a photographer and filmmaker. It's comments like these that really encourage and show that I'm taking a correct creative direction for where I'm going. I thought a lot about it, and I was thinking about the format of how we're going to present these kind of episodes and kind of series. And one of the advice that I got from somebody a while ago was that if you want to become good at something, you teach it. There's still going to be this photography over the camera kind of shots thing, but at the end of every video we're going to be talking about a certain topic, a philosophy, an idea, or maybe some tutorials that you might want. If you're a budding photographer or filmmaker and you're not so sure about certain topics, maybe it's something that you can post in the comments or ask me a question in my email and we can learn about it together. The way this is going to be in Sabah, I split it up into two parts. One is the city and one is a more rural area. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay. So one of the questions that I got from my first video was, what lenses do you use? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be discussing what lenses that I use and more specifically why I use them. Lenses are, in my opinion, more important than your camera because it gives you different perspectives, it gives you different looks, and most importantly, it affects the story that you want to tell. So we'll get the boring stuff out of the way, the technical parts. I use a 17mm 1.8, a 25mm 1.8, and a 45mm 1.8. And I'm just going to give you an example of the differences of different lenses. These few shots are shot in the 17mm, which is about 35mm equivalent, which is a wide angle lens. And as you can see, you can take a lot of the environment plus the subject in as well. Wide angles tend to give a very grand, very wide, very big. It tends to emphasize things. The second lens that I use for street photography is the 25mm, which is equivalent to about 50mm. What it does very well in being able to isolate your subject even more, but at the same time keeping a lot of the background in place, which gives you a more natural look, as a lot of photographers will say. And finally, the last lens that I use rarely the most for street photography is the 45mm, which is a telephoto lens. The reason why I don't like this is because it's just too cropped in. It's very hard to see everything, the context of where the subject is in. I usually use it for portraits and commercial work, but I don't use it too much for street photography because I feel it's a bit too constricting for the kind of photography that I take. The one thing I want you to take away from this is that regardless of what lens you use, it has to complement the story that you're trying to tell. Are you trying to isolate a subject in the middle of a messy place, or are you trying to take in everything at the same time and trying to tell a story in a contextual way? So I hope that helped you kind of like give a bit of insight into why lenses matter and what you should choose. But if you don't have choices of lenses, don't worry about it. You can still take great photos. All you have to do is actually go out and take them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in part 2.